Chapter 62 of Married Thrice to Salted Fish. After the attempt at Shao Chang's life, the emperor had to force himself to handle the government affairs despite being ill. His headache was getting worse and worse. He was now dependent on the Lin family's acupuncture treatments to ease the pain. Every time it was Lin Qingyu's turn to be on duty, he was almost always on standby in the emperor's palace. Even if while he was on a break but in the palace grounds, he would be summoned by the emperor from time to time. In the eyes of the emperor, Lin Qingyu had a gentle temperament. He never said anything unnecessary, and he even carried a light medical fragrance on his body. The same kind of medical fragrance was also found on Chu Zhengde, but on Chu Zhengde he found it pungent, but on Lin Qingyu it became refreshing. Pedo alert. Especially when massaging the acupuncture points on his head for him, the beauty would lower his eyes and remain silent throughout. His flawless skin glowed faintly under the palace lanterns. Can we just get rid of this old freaking man? He's so disgusting. Seeing so much of Lin Qingyu, he now found the other beauties in his harem dull and boring. It was a pity that he was in a bad mood right now. With such a big incident befalling the Eastern Palace, he simply didn't have the energy to consider this matter. A big thing happened in the Eastern Palace. He didn't have the heart to think about it at all. Thank God. During the times his breath is taken away by Lin Qingyu's beauty, all he could do was heave a sigh. Me too. Even I heave a sigh whenever this guy talks about Lin Qingyu in that disgusting way. Nowadays, he doesn't bother having his concubine attend to him in his illness. He left only Xue Ying and Lin Qingyu surrounding himself with silence. On this day, Lin Qingyu was ordered to go to the emperor's palace but was stopped by Xue Ying at the door. Imperial physician Lin, the emperor is discussing business inside. Please wait for a while. Is the Prime Minister inside? It was the Prime Minister who was in charge of running the government these days. Any important matter that the ministers had to report to His Majesty were all conveyed through him. Xue Ying and Lin Qingyu had been serving the emperor together for a long time, and they have gradually become more familiar with each other. Xue Ying didn't hide it from him. It's the leader of the Tianji camp, Xie Daren. Lin Qingyu said indifferently, I see. It must be because of the assassination attempt on Shao Chang. As soon as Shao Chang's incident happened, Shen Haoshi disappeared. The Tianji camp would follow this trail and track him down. No one knows how their investigation has been going. After Xie Daren withdrew, Lin Qingyu entered the emperor's sleeping chambers. The emperor sat at the dragon's desk, a solemn expression on his face. It seemed that Tianji camp hadn't brought him any good news. The emperor waved off Lin Qingyu's salute and said feebly, I have a headache again. Come and give me a massage. Lin Qingyu went to stand behind the emperor and massaged his forehead for him. The emperor's expression softened a little and he closed his eyes to enjoy it. Your technique is really good. Do you know what other technique of his is really good? Poisoning people. And I think you need to taste it for yourself to know, It's only because we are waiting for Shao Chang's downfall first that we need emperor as that, the gates to, handle him. But as soon as Shao Chang dies, emperor will die. I hope both of them die at one clean swoop. That would be so freaking ideal and so amazing. The country will be chaos everybody will be, under turmoil and panicking, and our Gu Fuzhao and Lin Chenyu will be sipping wine and chilling in their mansion. What a nice way. I look forward to that chapter. Lin Chenyu said, "This official learned all these from my father. My technique is nothing compared to my father's." Lin Rushan, the emperor remembered this demoted former Yuan Pan. He is a person of true talent, only that he is a bit presumptuous. It was not wrong of the crown prince to punish him, but it is indeed a waste of talent to prevent him from practicing his craft. Right now, the Imperial Hospital is in need of people. Convey my order. Lin Rushan shall be reinstated to his post as Yuan Pan of the Imperial Hospital. Nice, a win. Lin Chenyu wanted to kneel down to offer his thanks on behalf of his father, but the emperor grabbed his hand. "No need to be too polite. Continue your massage for me." You guys just should see how many times I eye roll and make my face, scrunch up in disgust whenever emperor opens his mouth. Xiaocheng was not yet dead, and the emperor could not die either. Lin Chenyu suppressed his disgust and pretended to be respectful and obedient. Thanks to his massage, the emperor's head no longer hurt so much. He once again unfurled the reports and forced himself to read them. Lin Chenyu said, "Your Majesty is in ill health. Mental stress must be avoided." The emperor sighed. "Now that the crown prince is also ill, if I don't concern myself with these things, who will concern themselves over these things for me? The crown prince isn't the emperor's only son." The emperor narrowed his eyes dangerously. "What did you say?" Lin Chenyu made himself appear to panic. He knelt down and said, "This official spoke out of turn. I asked the emperor to forgive me." The emperor looked at the beauty, who was so frightened that his face paled. He felt that he himself might have been overly suspicious. He was a mere imperial physician. What schemes could he possibly get up to? "Get up. What you said was not unreasonable. It's a pity that the two remaining princes..." Thinking of this, the emperor's head began to ache again, and the words on the reports began to blur. Seeing his bitter expression, Lin Chenyu said, "Your Majesty's health is the most important thing. It would be better for the emperor to take a rest first." The emperor nodded. "All right, I will have to rely on you to help me get ready for bed." Lin Chenyu stared at the emperor's throat. Yes, he's scheming on ways to kill him. Like, he's keeping a tab of how many times he felt disgusted, and he's going to make it so freaking horrible that he die in such a way that they can't even say it. Death by sex. Amazing way to kill people, humiliate them even in death. Lin Chenyu, go on. I look forward to how you actually, finish this job. Lin Chenyu held the emperor up and walked towards the dragon bed. Suddenly, he said, "There is one matter this official wishes to apologize for and seek the emperor's punishment." "Oh, what crime have you committed?" Lin Chenyu said. "Recently, my mother has been feeling unwell. This official and his righteous brother, General Gu, went to Chanseng Temple to offer incense and pray for my mother. At the entrance of the temple, we met the imperial censor, Yang Geng, Yang Darren. Yang Darin said that a male wife is an inauspicious thing and that this official was still within the period of mourning and thus should not be so close to other men. If this official brings any ill fate to General Gu, even if this official were to die 1,000 deaths, it would not suffice. The emperor let out a groan in his heart. The tragic situation of the Nanan House mansion was vivid in everyone's mind, and the Nanan House has only slightly improved after Lin Qingyu departed from the mansion. With regards to these kind of things, it was better to believe than to not. Withdraw first, the emperor said. Let Shuiying come in and serve me. Lin Qingyu walked out of the bedchamber. He saw Shuiying hurriedly approaching and asked, Eunuch Shui, why are you in such a hurry? Shuiying said happily, It's the Crown Prince. The Crown Prince is awake. Ah, damn. Lin Qingyu laughed. This is indeed a happy event. Back at the Imperial Hospital, Huji told Lin Qingyu that although the Crown Prince was awake, most of his body had broken down to the extent that to what degree he'd be able to recover would depend on his recuperation in the days to come. When he woke up, he became even more temperamental and irritable than before. One concubine who had been serving him by his sick bed was only slightly clumsy but was sent to the cold palace to spend her days together with side concubine Lu. Huji had also seen Xie Darin of the Tianji camp in the Eastern Palace and even overheard a conversation between him and the Crown Prince. The Crown Prince seemed to not even be at all interested in the affairs of the court. Heedless of anything, he desperately wanted to capture the assassin and bring him back to the capital. The Crown Prince repeatedly emphasized that he must be kept alive. After Lin Qingyu left the palace, he went directly to the general's mansion. Yan Yan welcomed him into the mansion and said, The general is training at the military grounds. When Lin Qingyu came to the military grounds, he saw Gu Fuzhao with his upper body bare, his stomach to the ground, his body in a straight line. He propped himself up and down, muttering under his breath, 77, 78, 79. General, Yun Yan said, Imperial Physician Lin is here. 80. Gu Fuzhao breathed a sigh of relief, got up, and took the shirt handed to him by a servant. He put it on carelessly and joked, Ah, I was seen by Imperial Physician Lin. How embarrassing. Lin Qingyu's bad mood at learning of Shao Cheng waking up from his coma eased a bit. I have helped you take a bath. There is no part of you I haven't seen. Gu Fuzhao sent the servant away and said, That's the body from the past. You haven't seen my current body before. I can't have a look yet? Gu Fuzhao complained. Were you the one who said my abs were getting loose? You can look once I have trained them back into shape. Gu Fuzhao wiped his sweat with the hem of his clothes. I'm exhausted. I'm so exhausted. I used to be able to play ball for hours on end and still not get tired. The years are so unforgiving. Lin Qingyu interrupted him. Shao Cheng is awake. Gu Fuzhao raised his eyebrows, not surprised at all. What did I tell you? Shao Cheng has a halo. He's not going to die that easily. But we aren't completely defeated. The Emperor might not be able to tolerate a weak and sickly crown prince who has no intention to govern. What happens in the future depends on whether Shao Cheng can strive for himself. But these can only be seen as time went on. Lin Qingyu thought for a while and said, As for our second marriage, we should do it as soon as possible. Gu Fuzhao paused and the corner of his mouth raised in a smile. Now you are in such a hurry? Thinking about the emperor's various actions, Lin Qingyu said, since it has been decided, delaying it might simply lead to more trouble. Or have you changed your mind and want to marry the seventh princess? Of course not, but have you really thought about it? Lin Qingyu asked back. Do I seem like I haven't thought well and good about it? What I mean is, have you ever thought about what we are going to do after we get married? Gu Fuzhao's tone was a little unnatural. Uh, how would we get along? Lin Qingyu was stunned by this question and he said hesitantly, we are getting married because we have no choice. How we get along now will naturally be how we will get along in the future. Gu Fuzhao pouted and said in a low voice, if you say so, then I won't propose seriously. Lin Qingyu didn't understand. Propose what? Here, take this. Gu Fuzhao flicked a shot with his hand and a golden object slid across the air, which Lin Qingyu caught firmly. It was a ring of pure gold, much thinner than the ornamental thumb ring often worn by men. It had a simple relief engraved on it, small and delicate. Lin Qingyu cast a confused look at Gu Fuzhao. What does this mean? Gu Fuzhao explained. In my hometown, it is a tradition to wear a ring on your ring finger when you decide to get married. Gu Fuzhao, I get it. My dude, I get it that he's, kind of friend zoning you or probably brother zoning you, but you still have to do a proposal. How do you think you are going to, make him awaken, to another level? Did I just talk about gay awakening? Oh gosh. Yeah, to be honest, he needs some kind of out of the otherworldly things, kind of like these kind of random things, for him to be like, I care about him, but I still think more about it. Get beyond that comfort zone to more of the love zone. Is that so? Lin Qingyu often heard Gu Fuzhao talk about his hometown. It must be such a bizarre world. In summer, there was something called an air conditioner, which saved Gu Fuzhao's life for the better half of every year. In his hometown, it would take only an hour to travel the distance between Yongliang and the capital. There, men who were 18 years old were adults, but they couldn't get married until they were 22. If he and Gu Fuzhao went back there, no one would recognize their marriage. Since they met, it had been Gu Fuzhao following their customs. Occasionally, he should respect the rules of Gu Fuzhao's hometown. Lin Qingyu picked up the ring and was about to put it on his ring finger, but was loudly stopped by Gu Fuzhao. What are you doing? Lin Qingyu asked, puzzled. Didn't you say I have to wear it? Gu Fuzhao couldn't help laughing. You can't put it on yourself. Ask me to help you to put it on. Is this also a rule in your hometown? That's right. So troublesome. Lin Qingyu stretched out his left hand. Then you come and do it. Gu Fuzhao's expression suddenly became serious. He lowered his head and for a while he stared at Lin Qingyu's hand. He first wiped his hands with a handkerchief and then carefully picked up the ring. His hand seemed to be shaking a little. He was nervous. Aww. Lin Qingyu had never seen Gu Fuzhao take something so seriously before. It was as if he was accomplishing the most important thing in his life. Lin Qingyu, a marriage proposal is one of the most important things in somebody's life. Seeing him like this, Lin Qingyu also started feeling nervous. It must be because Gu Fu Zhao held the ring for so long. The metal had grown a bit warm. It slowly pushed it to go around his finger, leaving a dazzling after image in the sunlight. It was a strange feeling. After putting on the ring, the two did not speak for a while. Lin Qingyu calmed down and asked, "Is it alright now?" "Wait, at a moment like this, I ought to say something a bit pretentious. Let me think about it." Gu Fuzhao took a deep breath, grabbed Lin Qingyu's hand, and placed it on his chest. He said, voice filled with emotion, "Then, Qingyu, I entrust the rest of my life to you." The rest of his life? Not marrying a wife and having children, but staying with Gu Fuzhao till the end, making jokes, laughing and cursing, occasionally conspiring to do bad things together, and supporting each other for the rest of their lives? It seems acceptable. Mm. Hearing Lin Qingyu's agreement, Gu Fuzhao couldn't help reaching for a mile after having gotten an inch. "Then promise me, even if I'm bald, fat, and without any abdominal muscles, you won't dislike me, okay?" Lin Qingyu quickly calmed down and mercilessly looked. Lin Qingyu calmed down and mercilessly took back his hand. "Impossible." Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, guys. I know that I have been talking a lot in this chapter. I'll try to dial it down a little bit. Don't